Carrie Lind is a Cherokee potter who understands her pottery as living, breathing pieces. Her connection to pottery art and her Cherokee roots stokes her ambition to help other women in vulnerable situations.
There's something special about pottery and clay and the connection with the earth. Most of the job is to listen what it has to say. So I might start a pot with this big, grand idea of what I want it to be, and it might not want to be that. Whatever I end up with, it's a negotiation between me and between the earth. It's saying what it wants to say, but it's also listening to me, and I'm listening to it, and it's our own private conversation. I'm Carrie Lind, and I'm a Cherokee potter. Pottery had been lost since removal. It was something that was always done, and it was done for a reason, and we lost that. And so I just wanted to continue to do that work because it was something that should have never stopped. I came into pottery actually after my grandmother had passed. I was at a local restaurant. There was this woman that was sitting across the way, and she looked just like my grandmother and kind of had the same demeanor and the same feeling. I just kind of stared at her for a long time because it was almost like seeing a ghost. I apologized to her and I explained to her that I had just lost my grandmother and that she reminded me of her. She asked me what my grandmother's name was, and before I could really even finish, she already knew exactly who my grandmother was. They had grown up in Indian boarding school together and were good friends. It wasn't until later that I realized that she had single-handedly revived Cherokee pottery. Anna Mitchell did. Her story from going from boarding school and losing her language and so much to reviving something that had been lost just really inspired me, and I wanted to continue her work. Anna Mitchell, she's the grandmother of Cherokee pottery. She's just an inspiration to everyone and what she did. The way that I see pottery is like, it's this connection between the people and the land. We had been removed and we lost that connection to the land. So what she did, it was bringing that connection back with Cherokee saying, we're still here. I wanted to start with a good foundation. I wanted to learn how to work with the earth and how to process clay by hand. It's all very intricate and it takes a lot of work and time to get to that place. But I thought I have to start there because that's the only way to start, really. To honor the past, you have to go there. Only recently have I started to kind of put my own spin on those things because I wanted to have all of that figured out.
My name is J.J. Lind. I am a documentary filmmaker and installation artist. I live in New York City. My sister is Carrie Lind. She's a traditional Cherokee potter. She had a lot of responsibility, and I think that it took her some time to find that path. I think that she took the time that she needed. She has a beautiful daughter. She has an amazing practice, and that's something that she's built over time. I believe that things happen in the order that they're meant to happen, that each of us are born with skills and talents and things that we're meant to contribute to our people if you feel that calling. And that calling is a responsibility and often a burden, literal burden, like, carrying clay is heavy. The amount of work and physical labor and anxiety and thought that goes just into that one little pot, what people think is this little thing, from the ground to the fire, that's a burden, and a blessing. She understands that and she wants to embody that. She's bringing what she carries in her blood and the knowledge that she's inherited and what her mentors and teachers have taught her. She embodies that and then records what she's witnessing for future generations.
My name is Richard Zane Smith. I've been a potter since 1984 full-time and have always been interested in drawing toward ancient roots, my own ancestors, but also ancestral artwork. And one of the things I've been interested in living here is to help us return to our roots, When I met Carrie, the first thing I noticed, was that she was fascinated with ancient roots too. I tried to encourage her, don't worry about being creative yet. Just try to reproduce these ancient techniques. Get them under your skin, get the ancestors going in your fingers again. Because something happens when you start creating what you might call reproductions, but they're not necessarily. They're just using the same tools and the same things that your ancestors did. There's a connection that happens and something awakens up. And I saw that happening with her. And then in time, I'd encourage her to try something a little more creative. With Carrie, it seemed pretty obvious that we were going to get along pretty well together. Carrie's one of those who she's teachable, and she's humble enough to make errors and to be able to say, what did I do wrong? I think it's when I see her firing, and when she's in there and she's actually, right around the fire, and she's really focusing on what she's doing with that fire, and she's pulling out a pot, that's glowing, and she's taking it out and putting it on some pine needles, and she's feeling the heat and the incredible intensity of that moment, where it's kind of scary, but it's also exciting because the pot's glowing, and you have these gloves on, you're pulling it out and putting it out there. When I see that, then I think this is going to be something she's going to want to keep doing.
As long as I'm physically able to make it, I want to continue making it and continue making it the same way that I do. Just being able to come together and not have to talk, but be able to have that kind of meditative process together, I think is really powerful and special. And I want to share that with other women, especially. And we're still here for a reason. We didn't survive because we were weak. We survived because we were strong. And I think just being Cherokee in general and being here is a gift in itself. You can do this out of nothing. You can take dirt and you can create something beautiful, and you don't have to have anything to do that. It's all given to us. It's a gift, and all you have to do is receive it.